My name's Liz Alpern. I'm coming at you from Brooklyn, New York, where I have a company called the Gefilteria, and it's great to be here. The truth is, I really miss being here. I miss travel. So hey. Anyway, I'm here to talk about Charroset, one of the many symbolic foods that we eat on the Passover table. Now, one of the things that is so important to point out about Charroset is that there are so many ways to make it. Wherever you are from, wherever your Jewish culture might be, there is a style of Charroset reflecting the local ingredients, availability, seasonality, and tastes. But I'm going to talk to you about Ashkenazi Charroset because I'm passionate about Ashkenazi cooking. And I want to inspire you and show you how beautiful it can be. So we're really, when we talk about Charroset, we're actually diving into some of the central principles that inform Ashkenazi cooking and cuisine. And one of those, at the center of it, is seasonality. Right? And I'd say that that's really symbolized by our central ingredient here, which is the apple, the humble apple. That is our base ingredient for our Ashkenazi Charroset. And why the apple? Well, let's just picture ourselves. Let's take ourselves to Central or Eastern Europe, and it's cold and the spring has just arrived and there's barely a living thing on the tree or coming out of the ground, maybe just a little bit, but you've got apples left in your root cellar from the fall. You've still got them. Now, I don't know if you have any apples in your root cellar in London right now. I was able to get this at the grocery store. But when I think about it, when I really try and eat seasonally, the truth is that the apple this time of year makes a ton of sense in a climate like Central and Eastern Europe's climate, which is very similar here to here in New York City. Other ingredients we have going on here, we've got cinnamon, ground cinnamon. This is a central fundamental spice to the Ashkenazi kitchen. We see cinnamon all over the place. Cinnamon was readily available in the shtetl and is here to stay. Of course, one of the nuts that was the most popular, the most available in the Ashkenazi kitchen were walnuts. And so we are using walnuts. Some folks like to toast their walnuts before they put them into Charroset. I think it's a great idea. I encourage it, but it's not necessary at all. It adds a little bit extra crunch and flavor. We've got honey. Here in New York, we produce a lot of honey, so I've got some beautiful local honey. If you've got local honey, that's a great ingredient to use, reflecting the land where you are right now. Some people, they're going to use brown sugar. Some people use sugar. I think that's totally okay. My preference is honey because it helps make that paste-like texture that I love about Charroset. But it's really up to you, and you can do a mix. And then, of course, the sort of secret ingredient of it all is some sweet red wine or grape juice. And this is going to add sweetness. This is going to add so much flavor. This is going to kind of bring it all together. So grab your wine. Woo, here we go. Now, before we get started making it, I have to say that the other quality of Charroset that really tells me the story of Ashkenazi cooking is this idea of improvisation, of a recipe without a recipe. And when you look up online, if you wanted to look up Charroset online, you would absolutely find recipes for Charroset. But I know, and you know, that you don't really need a recipe because all you need to do is combine these ingredients, this very simple palette of ingredients, as a way of enhancing their flavors. So this is up to you. This is totally up to you to make it like you want to make it. And so I hope that I will inspire you to just improvise. Go for it. Make it taste like you want it to. We did it. A classic Ashkenazi Charroset. Now, when you try it in your kitchen this year, you can improvise, right? You can swap pears for apples. You can make your texture a lot finer than I make mine. I grew up with a chunky Charroset. This is what it looks like to me. Maybe you want a more paste-like texture. You can add in an extra spice. I don't know. I think cardamom would taste good in here. I think a pinch of cayenne pepper would taste good in this mix right now. So improvise, go for it. Add some dried fruit. Whatever you've got in your newly stocked Passover cupboard, go for it. But I want to leave you with one thought before we go, which is that the true essence of how good your Charroset is how good it tastes when it's mixed with maror, with a bitter herb, right? That moment in the Seder, right before the meal, when you take your sweet Charroset and you layer it with some bitter, harsh maror, and you put it between those two crunchy pieces of matzah and you bite, and all those crumbs start falling around, and it tastes so good. The bitter maror and the sweet Charroset. The bitter and the sweet. That's the whole story, huh? Enjoy. Thanks for having me.